Woof! Well, that's a win. I've heard people complain about the 45-35, those kind of last-second field goal wins. Oklahoma got a last-second field goal win. Final score, though, guys, 16-13 this time. I think you feel a little bit better than those 57-54 games. Tell you how the 16-13 game went. Rushing stats, passing stats, defensive stats, all of it. Got it all for you next. Boomer Senior 1982. Don't go away! Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name's Harry James. So, how did OU finally get a last-second field goal to go their way for the first time in a while? Well, it happened like this over the West Virginia Mountaineers. Let's start with the stat board between Oklahoma and West Virginia. Roadside says we start with West Virginia, and that's where you'll find number 2, Jarrett Dagey. Seth's younger brother threw this Dagey threw for 160 yards, didn't throw a touchdown, had a pick. His longest completion, 28 yards. The other side of the ball, Spencer Rattler passed for 256 in the air, a touchdown, did have another interception. His longest completion, 38 yards. That's the passing stat. The rushing stat for this game for West Virginia first. Letty Brown. He wears number 4 for the Mountaineers. He had 14 rushing attempts to go for 56 yards. Didn't have a touchdown. His longest run, 9 yards. Then, kind of their option quarterback, Garrett Green, 5 carries, 15 yards. Did have the touchdown. His longest run, 9 yards. For Oklahoma, Eric Gray and Kennedy Brooks. Let's start with Gray, the Tennessee transfer. Eric Gray, 5 rushes, 84 yards, didn't have a touchdown. Longest run, 8 yards. Brooks, Kennedy Brooks, back from the COVID year, 5 rushes, 17 yards, 0 touchdowns. Longest run, 7 yards. So there's that. Then we'll talk about the receiving stats. Bryce Ford Wheaton for West Virginia and Winston Wright Jr. for West Virginia. We'll start with 0. Boyd Ford Wheaton, 8 catches, 93 yards, 0 touches. 16 was his longest completion. Catch. 1. Winston Wright Jr., 7 catches, 65 yards. Also did not have a touchdown. His longest reception, 28 yards. For the Sooners, a couple of transfers from the SEC, including number 8, Mike Woods, the second from Arkansas, and Eric Gray from Tennessee. Woods, 8 catches at the end of the day. 8 catches, 86 yards, 0 touchdowns. Longest catch, 35 yards. Eric Gray was the next leading receiver from the University of Tennessee. Three catches, 52 yards, 0 touchdowns. Longest reception, 38 yards. So, when you have a 16-13 game like this, your teams better play pretty good defense, and both did, including Josh Chandler Samito for West Virginia, and also Sean Marone for West Virginia. We'll start with Josh Chandler Siombi. 12 total tackles for him. 0 forced fumbles, 0 fumbles recovered, 0 picks from linebacker Sean Mahone, number 29 for West Virginia. 10 tackles, 0 forced fumbles, 0 fumbles recovered, 0 picks from his safety slot. For Oklahoma, it was also about a linebacker and a safety. The linebacker, 24, Brian Asamoah. And the safety, 10, Pat Fields. Start, 24, Brian Asamoah. 9 total tackles for Brian. 0 forced fumbles, 0 picks, 0 fumbles recovered. Pat Fields, 9 total tackles, 0 fumbles forced, 0 fumbles recovered, 0 picks. So you play well offensively and you play well defensively. What about special teams? Their look. Skylar Sumter for West Virginia. 5 punts, 46.6 in average, 49 his longest punt, 0 inside the 20. Michael Turk, 3 punts, 52.7 in average, 2 inside the 20-yard line, longest punt 53 yards. So after punting, now we go to the kicking game. The leg of Casey leg for West Virginia. 2 for 2 for this young man. A 21-yarder and a long of 28. That's 2 for 2 for 100% for Casey leg. The only thing better than 2 for 2, what about the tray balls? 3 for 3 by Gabe, 47, Gabe Burkick, 28, 30, and a long of 35. So there is the stat board. Now let's go over the scoring highlights. First quarter, for the game. Number 6, Garrett Green runs it in himself as a backup quarterback. 7-0. 5:53 left for West Virginia. And the Mountain Men are on top of the mountain in Norman. But then Oklahoma gets the ball and they take it and tie it up. 7, Spencer Rattler finds Austin Stogner for a 5-yard touchdown pass for 7 of their own. So we got a 7-7 tie ball game in Normantown with 2:46 left in a tie ball game. Second quarter, that's when the defenses started to show up. In fact, only one score in the second quarter, and it was with zeros on the clock because at the buzzer, 48 Casey Legg hits his 25-yarder up and through the pipe. It is 10-7 Mountaineers. As we go to the third, in the third, Oklahoma then hits their 28-yarder to tie it up at 10 with 11:56 left in the third quarter, and we got a tie ball game. Then, it wasn't a 25-yarder, but it was a 21-yarder for Casey Legg to match the 2 for 2. 13-10, West Virginia. 5:21 left in the third. As we head to the fourth, get your fours in the air. Gabe Burkick started it off with a 35-yard field goal in the fourth, scoring in the fourth quarter. 13-13 tie with 8:52 left. And as we talked about, with no time left at the buzzer, Gabe Burkick, 30-yard field goaler, up and good. Sooners lead for the first time last night in this game with the zeros on the clock. Riley's right call of the game was on that drive to set up a 30-yard field goal where Spencer Rattler finds Lil Stoops, Drake, at the West Virginia 34-yard line to set up about a 45-yard kick. They would then move inside, as we already talked about, to make it a 30-yard kick. The catch happened with 1:52 left in the fourth quarter. From the fourth quarter, where all the scoring was done, to where absolutely no scoring was done, except for the field goal by Casey Legg in the second quarter. And that is when, on 3rd and 14, number 6, Seth Dakey, is picked off by Delarion Turner-Yell at the Oklahoma Sooner 24-yard line. First down, Sooners. 14:53 left in the second quarter. That, my friends, was a huge pickup for Oklahoma. All right, guys, that will wrap the show up. My name's Harry James. Before we go, you guys know the rest. It is Through the Keyhole. You want some good stuff to listen to? Brady Trantham, Keegan Renault, and Matt Burton bring the noise on the Through the Keyhole podcast. Find it on all of your Amazon, iTunes stuff. There is a different Through the Keyhole, which is for Patreon members. And for the Patreon members, it is $1 to read all the goodies that Brady will write for us. $4 if you just want the podcasts and if you want and to be able to read this stuff. But if you want to be able to read this stuff, listen to the stuff, and watch videos, like Keegan will break down each week's opponent, like on an all 22 broadcast. You want to do that? $5 on the Patreon. That will get that done for. Alright guys, thanks for watching. My name is Harry James. You can catch this on all my other videos on YouTube, BoomerSooner1982. Also, Facebook, Harry James Taylor, or on the Twitter box, at HypeManHarry. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and Boomer Sooner, everybody. I'm out of here. Peace!